from Belton's Tiger Field, where pregame tailgate by area churches got the crowd ready for a cold and blustery night here at Tiger Field, where it was 55 degrees at kickoff. It was also Parents' Weekend here at UMHB, so that helped to fill the stands and give the crew a lot of support here tonight. As I said, that cold front moved in, but it did not slow down the crew. The crew came into tonight's game with 28 regular season games won in a row, 27 regular season home games, and an ASC game streak of 20 games, and they had won 53 of 54 American Southwest Conference matches overall. And coming into tonight's game, they had won 31 night games in a row after actually losing their first 5 to start back in 1998. So like I said, the crew started off the night. They took the first kickoff, and after a series of plays, Michael Carpenter took the ball, ran it 48 yards for a touchdown, giving the crew a 7-0 lead. Later on in the game, Michael Carpenter would get the ball again on a 19-yard run given to him by Ladero Bailey, and that stretched the score to 14-0. Texas Lutheran would bounce back from that, and Brent Peavy would score on an 8-yard run, making it 14-7. Later on in the first quarter, Ladero Bailey kept the ball on an option and took it 29 yards for a touchdown after they had gone through a couple of 3-and-outs. They finally got back on track, and he was able to score again. In the second, there was a blocked field goal for UMHB that was taken all the way back to about the Texas Lutheran 25-yard line, but a number of penalties brought that ball back. Ended up, nobody scored, and the halftime score was actually 21-7. Going into the third, UMHB kicked off to Texas Lutheran. Cody Jones was able to pick off a ball, INT, on the second play of the quarter, but then a blocked field goal gave Texas Lutheran the ball on about the 50. 3 plays later, they only were able to get negative yards for UMHB, and that's what led to that field goal. Texas Lutheran went 3-and-out after a false start on 4th and 2, and that forced them to punt. Later on in that quarter, Ladero Bailey was able to hook up once again with his favorite target of the night, Jeff Miles, for a 56-yard pass on a 3rd and long. That took the ball down to about the 21, and Elijah Hudson, who was on track tonight, took the ball in for a 21-yard scamper the rest of the way, and that made it 28-7 UMHB. Later on in the quarter, Ladero and Jeff Miles would hook up again for 14 yards. That was around the 6:45 mark in the third, and that made it 35-7 for UMHB. Broderick Crane intercepted a pass in the third quarter at about the 2:40 mark, and after 3, the score was 35-7 UMHB. Elijah Hudson again was very hot on the night. He started the fourth quarter from 2 yards out. UMHB had gotten the ball and ended the third quarter about 2 yards away from the end zone. First play, Elijah Hudson again took that ball in for another touchdown. Later on, for Texas Lutheran, there was a touchdown by number 31, JoJo Epps. That was midway through the fourth quarter. That made it 42-14 for UMHB. Later on, Texas Lutheran took the ball after a UMHB 3-and-out. One play, 77-yard touchdown pass from Trenton White to Cameron Peavy made it 42-21. Texas Lutheran wasn't going away. They decided to keep playing and made it a close match. Later on, it was 49-31 on Trenton White's second touchdown pass of the night at 1:20 in the fourth. That made it 49-31, but that was all that could be had as UMHB finished out the night with a 49-31 win. On the night, Ladero Bailey was 15 of 26 for 218 yards and a touchdown. He also ran for 101 yards and a score. Leading rusher for the crew was Elijah Hudson. He rushed 13 times for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns. Michael Carpenter had been running very well, 13 for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he did leave the game injured. Jeff Miles was the big receiver on the day. He had 8 receptions for 148 yards and 1 touchdown. Silvio Diaz had a couple of sacks. Cody Jones had an interception. And one big thing for Texas Lutheran in the 4th quarter, their kicker had a 59-yard wind-aided field goal that helped them on the night. But again, UMHB finished that out. Next week they take on Louisiana College, and that'll be another tough game, another exciting game as 2 ASC schools match up. My name is Chad Hammond. That's my D3Football.com report. I hope to see it on D3Football.com.